Welcome back. You join us as we arrive at our final campsite in Manilva, near the port of Duquesa. It was great to see the Mediterranean again after 14 weeks away, and we enjoyed a week of relaxation and reminiscing about our amazing adventures.
Morning.
Morning everybody. As we're at the end of our 2024 summer trip now, we thought it might be fun to talk about some statistics and also high points of the journey.
And the low points.
Yeah, the low points.
not that there was many. But...
Our favourite places, our not so favourite places. So let's talk about the trip.
Okay, let's give you some facts and figures. We spent a total of 100 nights on the road.
And that was just over 14 weeks.
And we stayed at 40 different campsites on an average cost of $31.61 per night.
And we visited 48 different places?
Yep, 48 places in 4 different countries.
4 countries, yeah.
We travelled 6,615 kilometres at an average speed of 57 kilometres an hour.
And you drove for a total of 114 hours in that very seat.
Did I?
Yeah.
We spent a total of €1,036.34 on fuel, which worked out at 15.6 cents per kilometre.
And the tolls came to €267.25. So now we've done the stats, we thought it might be quite good fun to remember our trip and ask each other what our favourite bits and maybe not so favourite bits were. So I'm going to start with you. What were your top 3 campsites?
My top 3 campsites were number 1, Camp in Rodas in Roses. I've chose this one because the facilities were top notch, like 5-star facilities. And the campsite had a really good feel about it.
Yeah.
And also the restaurant was really good. We had a superb meal there.
We did, yes.
So that's the reason I've picked Camp in Rodas.
Yeah.
My second choice is Camper Park Zuinkirk in Bruges. I chose this one because it was a brand new site and everything was immaculate, and it was an easy trip from there into Bruges.
Yeah, and that's on my list as well, which I'll reveal later.
Okay, I can't wait. And my number 3 choice is La Grenetière in Ile de Ré. Although the weather wasn't particularly brilliant there, again, it was a really nice campsite and the facilities were really good. And it just had a really good feel about it. That's my 3.
Okay. So
and your 3?
My turn now. So first was Camper Park Zuinkirk, for the same reasons as you really. Great location into Bruges and brand new site. Facilities were really clean. Everything was what you needed. My second is Sanguinet Playa by the lake. That was a really great campsite. We got a really good price on that.
Yeah.
And the facilities were great. It was a 5-star campsite. It had lots going on, most of which we didn't use, but it was, I really liked that campsite. My third choice is Camping Delay in Pommiers.
Okay.
Purely on feel, because a lot of my impressions on campsites were made when we first turned up. And that felt like a really lovely campsite. It was really laid back and it had the tiki bar where we had really nice meal, and it just had a really cool vibe. So that's my third one.
Good 3 choices.
Thank you. So, what was your worst campsite and why?
My worst campsite was the campsite at Lyon-sur-Mer,
Okay.
and solely because the facilities were awful, absolutely awful. So bad I refused to use them. Well, I used the shower, but I didn't use the toilet, so they were that bad.
And my worst campsite was the one in Prié,
Okay.
because there was a lot of noise from local people who it felt like didn't want people there, didn't want tourists there.
Okay.
So there was a lot of beeping of horns late at night as they went past the road, and a lot of noise from the river. It looked like it was going to be a really lovely site initially,
Yeah.
because it was right next to the river, but actually it wasn't. And it also had mixed male and female toilets. And when we set up camp, we sat down for the first time, and I realised I could actually see the urinals in the nearest toilet block from where we were sitting. So yeah, that wasn't a great location either. What about the top 3 places that we visited for you?
Okay, well, my top 3 places are, and this is in no particular order, Monet's House and Garden.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that. I wasn't expecting it to be as good as it was, but it was thoroughly enjoyable.
Yeah, it was lovely.
Number 2 was Annecy.
Yeah, that's on my list as well.
Yeah, it was a really great
Yeah.
town, and it's somewhere that I'd really like to go back and visit again. And number 3 was Bruges.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and again, that was a lovely town. There was many other places that I could have listed, but those probably the top 3 that stood out for me. And you?
My top 3 were Annecy, as we know. The area in France around Jard-sur-Mer,
Okay.
so on the Atlantic coast of France, that was a beautiful area, and we kept talking about where we'd live, didn't we? If we,
Yeah.
we don't have any
Yeah.
plans to move to France,
It'd be a
but
nice
we
area
kept
to
doing
live.
that dream thing
Yeah.
of that's a nice house, that's a nice house. So yeah, Jard-sur-Mer, and beautiful beaches there on the Atlantic coast as well. And my 3rd place is Sitges in Spain.
Yeah.
That was a really cosmopolitan kind of town, and had a really nice beaches as well. So that's my 3.
Good choices. Okay.
So the place that most surprised you for a good reason.
Okay, so I've chosen Quarantaine and the D-Day experience. The reason I've picked that one is because I didn't realise how important Quarantaine was in the Second World War and how much went on there. And going to the D-Day experience opened my eyes to that, and that was something that I really enjoyed. And you?
For me, it was St Valery-sur-Somme.
Okay.
So that's in the Somme estuary, and we just chose it as a place that was halfway between 2 points that we were at. We didn't really do much research, and then when we got to the campsite we realised that this place was 20-minute cycle away, and it was absolutely beautiful, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was lovely.
Absolutely
Yeah.
gorgeous. So that was a really lovely surprise. There were a lot of lovely surprises in France, because everywhere you look there's beautiful villages and beautiful towns, but that was one that really stood out.
Good one.
Place or thing that most disappointed you?
I would have to say Prié. The campsite wasn't the best, but the town, there was really nothing in the town.
No.
It was it disappointed me when we arrived. So that's the one I've picked.
Okay.
And you?
And I've picked, mine's a thing rather than a place. Mine is mixed male and female toilets, that you might
Okay.
have gathered through the trip.
Yeah.
And in the videos you might have gathered that it's one thing that makes me really uncomfortable,
Yeah.
and is very common in France, so I just have to put up with it to enjoy France. It's just one of those things.
Yeah. Yeah, it was one of the first things we did when we arrived at a campsite was check
Just
out
check
whether the facilities were
Yeah.
mixed or individual.
And then I could prepare myself.
Yeah.
What was your favourite meal that we had, or favourite food?
This is probably going to sound really sad, but my favourite meal was at Camping Rodas in Roses, and it was chicken and chips.
Yeah, that
The
was
chicken
delicious.
there was gorgeous. I don't know
Yeah.
what they put on it, but the flavour
Yeah.
was so it was half a chicken roast on a spit.
Yeah, like on a
but-
rotisserie,
yeah,
wasn't it? Yeah.
But the flavour was gorgeous, and the chicken was really moist and fell off the bone.
Yeah.
It was gorgeous.
Yeah.
Of all the places we went to,
Yeah.
that one always stuck in my
Yeah.
mind, so I'm going to choose that
Yeah.
one. And what
And
was
no
your
other
favourite?
chicken will ever.
No, I
beat
don't
it,
think we'll
will
ever
it
beat
now?
that. No, that's for sure. Never.
My favourite was the charcuterie board that we had in Annecy, in a tiny little
Oh, okay,
restaurant next to the water. And
Yeah.
it was just the whole atmosphere of being a typical French little restaurant with red and white check tablecloths. And yeah, so that for me, that has like a special memory. And the cheese and the local meats were delicious.
Well, really nice, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so what was your favourite experience overall?
My favourite experience was the tennis at the Olympics when we saw Alcaraz, and that was just fantastic. The whole atmosphere in the stadium, just being there, it was brilliant, superb. So I'll remember that for a very, very long time.
So my favourite experience was the Olympics as a whole.
So, everything.
Yeah, everything about it was really good. The getting there, the anticipation, the actual experiences at each event that we went to. I just enjoyed the whole experience. So
Yeah.
I would say the Olympics as a whole.
Yeah.
Good job, Paris.
Next question. What are the top 3 gadgets in the motorhome that we bought for this trip?
Right, my top 3 gadgets. I think the first one would be the Starlink, which is a satellite internet. So you have a router in the van and then a dish outside. So as long as you've got a clear view of roughly north in the sky, you'll pick up the internet. And you're getting pretty good speeds, anywhere from 100 to 250, 300 megabits a second. And pretty much everywhere we've been, it's not let us down, has it?
No.
We've been able to get internet. There's been one occasion I can remember where we couldn't really watch any TV because it's buffering a bit, but other than that,
Yeah,
it's
worked brilliantly.
been superb.
Yeah. And number 2?
Number two would be, I would say, the electric bikes. They have enabled us to explore more of the area because quite a lot of the campsites are outside of the towns, so it's sometimes too long to walk, but the bikes have enabled us to get to towns or explore the local area.
Yeah.
And we've used them more than I thought we would.
Yes,
Yeah,
definitely.
for sure.
Yeah.
So they were a really good buy, those. And number 3 is going to be, I think, the Kadak. Not that I do a lot of cooking, but the Kadak is a little mini gas barbecue. And again, it takes up no room, and it's for 2 people. It's a superb bit of kit. So
Yeah.
and
it just cooks the meat really evenly and really well, doesn't it?
Yeah, no, it's good. And easy to clean as well. So
Yes.
it's always a bonus.
Yeah.
So what were your top 3 gadgets?
Mine were definitely number 1, the Max fan that we had fitted a short while before we actually came on this trip. And it's been a lifesaver. Not that we've had a lot of hot weather, to be fair.
No.
But even when it's raining, you can leave it open, so it does air in and air out. So no matter what the weather, you can either have a window open and then it extracting the air coming through, and it's been fantastic for us. And it's quiet, so you can have it running all night if you want to,
that's
can't
not
you?
a problem. Yeah, and also you have different speeds from 10% up to 100%.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
obviously
so-
the higher it is, the more noisy it is.
Yeah,
but
that's been fantastic.
Yeah.
Second one is the air fryer, because that's been really useful. We've got the oven type one not the drawer one. So I don't have an oven in the motorhome for cooking, so this replaces an oven really, and it's been perfect, and it just about fits inside when it's raining outside or cold outside. So I've been able to use it in the kitchen in the motorhome and also outside under the awning, and it's just been fantastic because basically we've been able to eat more or less the same type of meals that we would eat at home, and that has been a real bonus. And my third choice is all the storage that I have in the motorhome, which Steve always laughs at. Whenever I buy a new basket or anything to do with storage, he always takes a mickey out of me. But in reality, it's really useful. And the suction hooks from IKEA are my best friend. I have them everywhere, and I have them all over with everything hanging. It means that when we pack up the motorhome to move on, everything just goes in baskets and then just gets shoved on the floor, and I don't have to put everything away in drawers or cupboards each time, and it makes the pack up and the unpacking at the other end much quicker. So all my storage solutions are my third favourite thing that we have in the motorhome.
Fair point. I'll say no more on that one.
So lastly then,
What's
for
the
this
last
video, the last one is, what was your absolute ultimate favourite experience of the whole trip?
My favourite experience of the whole trip is turning up at towns or villages that we thought were just going to be for a stopover just to get from A to B, and they turn out to be really lovely villages with lots of history.
There was a lot of those surprises.
There was a lot of beautiful villages that are old, and that surprised me because I've never really been to France that much. So I'd heard that the villages were beautiful, but they were much better than I thought. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's mine.
Mine was France. Just France.
Just France?
Yeah, France was just so beautiful. The people were lovely. Everybody that we met, bar one lady in the tourist office in Paris when we were late for the Eiffel tour. With the exception of her, everybody that we met in France was so lovely, whether they were waitresses and waiters in restaurants or people on the street. When we were cycling through villages, all of the people from the village would just say bonjour all the time. People on campsites, the food was delicious. Like you said, the villages and towns were beautiful. Countryside was stunning, and it was just so typically French. And I know that sounds ridiculous to say, but it was what I had in my head as France would be, and it didn't disappoint.
Good. Would you go back?
Definitely, 100%. Can't wait. Already planning when we go back through France next year where we're going to stop.
Yeah. No, good. Right, so, well that's it from us.
That's it from us for this year.
That's our summer trip over with. We've had a really good time, and I hope you've all enjoyed watching it. And I'd just like to say thank you to Nikki for doing all the videoing, the editing. She spent hours and hours doing the editing, and she's done a really good job. It was good
fun though. And it's nice for us to have that whole record of our trip as well. So I'll definitely be videoing our future trips, and we're planning a big trip for next summer that will be about 16 weeks this time. So we'll let you know more about that nearer the time, and when we've done a bit more planning. So for now we'll say hasta luego.
Hasta luego.
Hasta luego. For the last time on this trip, summer 2024.
Cheers.
Cheers.